Welcome to the Iroquois Central School District Board of Education meeting. There are 2 recognition of guest periods, one for agenda-related items and one for other topics. Please refrain from person-related comments and address those to the appropriate administrator. To speak, fill out the proper form and submit it to the district clerk. Public comment is limited to 15 minutes total. Each speaker will be allowed up to 3 minutes. This meeting is held in public rather than a public meeting, and while we will not engage in dialogue tonight, we are listening. This meeting is live streamed and the recording will be posted online. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be given by Wales primary students Mason and Tessa.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now the high school will give their report. Hazel from the lead club will give the report.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce an exceptional student here with us tonight. Hazel is a leader in our school. She is not only a leader, but she exudes kindness and warmth and a welcoming spirit in our school. And she's going to get to speak about her experiences with Key Club and several other groups at the high school, and in particular, a unique opportunity of leadership that she took on this year with the larger Key organization as Lieutenant Governor. With that, Hazel.
Hi. Throughout my career as a student at Iroquois High School, I have developed leadership and teamwork skills through my extracurricular activities and experiences. I would love to spotlight some of these activities. Activities like Key Club, Swing Choir, Jazz Band, Mock Trial, Model UN, Tennis, Drama Club, SGB, National Honor Society, and many more. As I prepare for college, hopefully attending Nazareth University as an athlete, nursing major, and hopefully a honor leader, I have had time to reflect on how these activities have truly helped me to become the person I am today. Without the experiences I have had throughout my high school, I may not have discovered my passion for community service, helping others, or just my all-around love for my community. The activity that has shown this to me the most throughout my high school experience is Key Club, where I met some of my closest friends, learned how to talk to big groups of people, and gained an understanding that life is not always separated by what grade you're in. Key Club is an international organization that is student-led. At Iroquois alone, our club has approximately 30 students. We've had the second largest club in our division. Our advisor, Mrs. McCoy, ensures that everything runs smoothly, but more importantly, she truly listens to our ideas and does what she can do to help us accomplish our goals. Some of our most popular events have been ideas from former Key Clubbers, such as the pre-prom gala where we collect old prom dresses, and working with Danny's Helping Hands, we give away prom dresses to those who can't afford to purchase the dress themselves. And our Kiss a Senior Goodbye event, which is students can purchase Hershey Kisses for seniors who are graduating in a way to say goodbye to your friends as they move on to their next adventure. Now you may be wondering what Key Club could have done that is so important or inspirational for students at Iroquois. In my 3 years in Key Club, I have done much more in our community and been inspired by the work we have done. At our annual lock-in, our club did several amazing things for our community, such as making blankets for children's hospitals, making cards for local veterans, making grippy socks for hospitals and nursing homes. Key Club is also responsible for running the largest canned food drive in recent history, to support those in our community who are in need for the holiday season. We also support our local Kiwanis clubs, which are the adult versions of Key Club, and their fundraisers such as chicken barbecues, tree lightings, dinners, and so on. But I would have to say that my favorite event of the service year, which for Key Club runs from April to April from year to year, is our annual Rakes and Tacos. Rakes and Tacos involves the students in Key Club going around and raking the yards with the leaves in them in local towns, East Aurora, Alma, Marilla, and Wales namely. But this event is not my favorite because of the free tacos we get after raking. It is the impact we have on the local communities. Just this year, we raked a woman's yard in East Aurora who was a recent widow. Her husband had been the one who did the majority of the yard work, and she was unable to rake the yard herself. The group of Key Clubbers that raked her yard for free in about 30 minutes, and we later found out that landscaping companies had been estimating upwards of $200. In just 30 minutes, we had the privilege of helping a grieving widow save over $200. I stepped into a great leadership opportunity through Key Club this year, becoming Lieutenant Governor of our division, Division 25, which means that alongside several other students from across the state, we run Key Club for the New York District. Being the Lieutenant Governor means that I'm in charge of acting as the in-between of Key Club and the district. I oversee Alden, Depew, East Aurora, Holland, Iroquois, Springville Griffith Institute, West Seneca East, and West Seneca West Key Clubs. I prioritize communicating with the Key Clubs by sending weekly emails and monthly newsletters. As a district, we have met several times to plan for the year and to discuss our final event of the service year, our annual Leadership Training Conference, LTC. Together, we have set goals for the district, such as service hour and fundraising goals for the year. Each specific charities are chosen to be the main fundraising areas. This year's projects are the One Tree Planted, International Justice Mission, and the Thirst Project, two of which supported the environment, the other supports victims of abuse. The goal of Key Club every year is to support our communities and the world, and of course to stay true to our pillars of success: leadership, character building, caring, and inclusiveness. Throughout my term, I've had a goal of increasing participation in not only Key Club, but also other extracurricular activities. The way in which I plan to do this is by creating Builders Clubs across my division. A Builders Club is the middle school version of Key Club. I hope to start my first Builders Club in Iroquois Middle School. I feel as if having more opportunities for students at the middle school level will allow for an incredible increase of participation. I have had the success I have had throughout my high school career and feel prepared for my future in college because of the extracurricular activities I have been a part of and because of the lessons they have taught me. Lessons of leadership, teamwork, and character. I hope that others who are graduating with me, as well as graduating after me, will be allowed the same opportunities that I have been granted. Thank you.
Thank you. Now the superintendent will speak on Dasha's Law.
It obviously will not be as impressive as what you just talked about and all you're doing, but thank you so much. Dasha's Law is something new. It was signed in by the governor with his legislator, and it has to do with cardiac emergency response in schools. For years, we've actually had a lot of rules that go in place within the safety plans. We have AEDs, we have nurses, and they want to expand on that a little bit. Just to highlight some of the things that were in there, this is where it came from. It's in honor of someone who passed away from sudden cardiac arrest, and they really feel that this might be a little bit of a help, making sure that people get the help they need right away. It might assist in that. So in 2002 and 22, there was a couple of things that were put in place already about the AEDs and screening athletes prior to participation in sports. Pre-existing, it has AED units and clearly marked accessible and maintain the manufacturer and health standards, which means in all our buildings, they're there, they're available. If you open them, the alarms will go off so that we can get extra people to go and help wherever the location is, so we're notified immediately. There's already training that was involved for AEDs and for CPR, and this is what was required already there. Like Red Cross is a common owner, American Heart Association, and one staff member shall be trained and be present in all approved school activities, and that's why a lot of the coaches have to have it. New requirements, and where this is there's a safety plan we make every year. We have to have a little more information in there, and it has to be in the building level emergency response, and they want this annual training now for the signs and symptoms of cardiac arrest. And that doesn't mean that they are going to be performing CPR, But what you will do is you'll say, ooh, this really looks like someone's having a cardiac arrest, so I can notify someone appropriately. So when you think of all students, you have to think of kindergartners. How would that be done for kindergartners? What would they do? How would you train them? All the way up to high school students. And here would be the signs and of the...
Hey Doug, sorry, just going back
Yeah, go
to
ahead.
the previous slide.
Yeah.
Does all staff include coaches and volunteers, or is it just teachers? You're
Yeah.
required to
So
have it
the
annually
coaches-
anyways?
Coaches already have it, the volunteers don't.
Okay,
Volunteers are not technically staff,
okay,
and so they would be excluded, but other than that, everyone has to be aware of the signs and symptoms.
okay.
And why I keep saying signs and symptoms so strongly is, even when I looked at it and was talking to someone the other day, I was saying, oh, they would have to get cardiac arrest, like the non-breathing one or something, and that was even a misconception I had with it. It's only recognizing signs and symptoms and then going and getting help. It's not actually administering something. So the idea that every staff member would be trained and every student would be trained on CPR, that's false. It's, ooh, I can recognize what's happening and then go get the appropriate personnel. Here are the signs and symptoms that they would be trained on. So, and actually, in my opinion, because there is training I've taken, little bit of training I've taken in this. Anytime someone has something that's not normal and they're in a situation where they're acting different than they normally act, you should alert somebody to get help. Find out what's going on, talk to them, because the quicker you can get someone to help them, the better off they are in the situation. This is just a timeline of what we have to do. Why we're having this hearing is that's a requirement of law that we, in a public forum, talk about it, say it's in the safety plan, and it has to be all in place. I'm trying to think, post, hold, deadline for building district level emergency plans. We already put those together, resubmitted them, and we're in the phase right now of just going and doing the hearing, so 30 days from now, we'll have to re-adopt at the next board meeting, if that's in 30 days, the plan. Yeah.
On January 20th of 2026, it's a safety training for all students and staff. Is that what you're saying, they just need to recognize?
Just to recognize it. So you could talk about it in phys ed class. Science class might be another great one to talk about it in. To me, those are very logical. A health class would be another one, but not everyone has a health class. So that would be kind of hard. Any other questions? I believe that's it. All right, so we're going to update our safety plan and then make sure students can recognize these signs. And I believe that they do that already in health class. They do talk about different ailments.
Thank you. We'll move on to board discussion and news we're sharing. And the high school is going to present their goals and data for us. So.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Today, what we would like to do is take you on a journey where we've been in our last 5 years, where we currently are right now in high school, and obviously where we want to be. So tonight, what I'll start with, and just if we take a look up on the screen right there, where we started in regards to just building a stronger, even stronger culture of relationships within our building, both starting off with two really great consultants that we worked with. First, starting with working with Susan Isaacs in the high school, beginning about 5 years ago when I first became principal, Iroquois High School, working with Susan Isaacs with Foundations in Safe and Civil Schools. Susan worked with us with building even stronger foundations within our high school, in our common areas. with foundations of safe and civil schools in areas like our cafeteria and our hallways, building a team of teachers and counselors and administrators, where we got together and built and worked with her to build using research-based strategies to bring this team together and build strong research-based strategies and to find solutions with this team in order to really build strong foundations in building strong foundations in regards to like building a strong culture in like those common areas, and then also using strategies within the classroom with our teachers for building strong relationships within our classrooms through strategies in a book called Champs. Okay, so so Susan worked with us also building these strong relationships with our teachers in building strong relationships in Champs as well. Okay, so we started with her and we started to build these strong relationships, and even though we already have a strong culture within Iroquois and building stronger relationships with her. And then we started to train teachers with Susan's strategies in safe and civil schools, and we began to build upon this with her. Okay, so I'll move it over to Doug, and he'll talk a little more about the RTI framework with.
Another consultant that we work with is through Niagara University, Lisa Kolonowski.
Sorry to pick on you, Doug, but you got to be near the mic so the people at home can hear you.
Sorry. I usually have a loud voice, they tell me. And
We use special mics that don't pick up people in the background.
I hear you now. Thanks, Doug. Lisa Kolonowski was a specialist, a consultant through Niagara University that we used, same thing about 4 or 5 years ago, for the purpose of trying to identify and close gaps with our students. You're going to hear a little bit more about our data with our Regents exams and things like that. But one of our things we want to do is we want to carry over what's been going on through our middle schools where they have Ames web testing and multiple data points. So our purpose with working with Lisa was to say, what can we do at the high school level? Typically, all of these screeners and all of these things stop at 8th grade, but there are a few out there that are at the high school level, 9th and 10th grade levels, which we adapted, looked at, built up, and kind of developed to work for our building. Using those, we saw Tier 1 and Tier 3 interventions with students who are struggling the most and saying, hey, what can we do to get them at a higher level so that they have more success going into June exams. And that's what we've been able to do with our math and our reading by having multiple data points go on through the fall and through the winter time, and using those so that we could correctly address problems that these students are having in the academic realm, which we're going to see, and we are looking to see even better results as we move on into our June exams. Even more, I'll let Alexis talk a little bit more about other things we've been doing.
So in addition to the academic arm that he just spoke about with MTSS is the SEL arm of MTSS. And continuing on this journey of developing our programs over the last 5 years is we built up and implemented SEL screeners. We did go through a journey of a couple different screeners to ensure we were finding the best tool to both assess our student needs and be able to meet those student needs along with the curriculum and support and intervention tools in place. We were really pleased that we were able to use that data with a committee of teachers to implement waypoints, which was the SEL screener that we've now implemented throughout the high school. This looks at students' adaptability, their agency, their collaboration, empathy, and purpose. And looking at those and thinking about what are the needs of our students, looking ahead, not just in high school, but beyond high school, after that high school diploma, we were able to also implement the high school seminar course, and that is for our freshman students that we implemented this year, and we'll speak a little bit more about that later.
Every year on an ongoing basis, we look at data, and what does this data tell us? One piece of the pie is really our Regents data, and if you look from the chart that you see on the screen here, what you see in red here is trending data that is trending upward. And on the in the white, we're seeing things that we might want to take a look and examine that might not necessarily be trending in a direction or might be inconsistent. So what are some areas that we're looking at that can be improving, and what are some areas that we might want to be focusing on? We look at both. What are reasons why data it could be improving in regards to our Regents exam passing levels, and what are reasons why our data might be inconsistent or might be sliding down in a certain direction. We want this data in the hands of our teachers. We want it in the hands of our department chairs. We want them really examining it, and they're examining it consistently through different department meetings, and they're examining it and focusing on it regularly. Okay, and why we have it in their hands, and we want them to make sure that they're examining this data. So this is particularly the Regents passing levels, and we're looking at it over the course of time. Which way is it trending?
Just to piggyback a little bit more, we're always looking at mastery level, which is 85 and above. And one of the good things that Chris talked about is the department chairs are not only taking this information from Data Warehouse, which is a source of finding out all the information of how we did, not only against ourselves, against the region, against the state. Those are things that we're looking at these numbers constantly. And what the good thing is, over the summertime, after they get these results from the June exams, they're sitting down as a department and they're identifying what happened with each one of those questions. Okay, how did they score? What did they score? And what improvements can they do? The good thing is that they can also break it not only by just the score, or the exam itself by the department. They can look at individual teachers, and then what the great thing is as these teachers are working together, they're talking and they're getting ideas of, okay, how did you teach this strategy or this standard to your students, because I see that your students scored 90% on this one question, and they're getting ideas of, oh, well, I teach it this way, so you might want to try this. But it's a yearly grind of tweaking and looking, because as we know, every year they get brand new students, and there are some years where every kid just hit the marks great, and then the next year, whatever tools they put in their toolbox from the previous year, they have to resharpen and figure out what new tools do I have to invent to make sure that those students in my current classes are excelling just as well as last year's kids. But that's the constant grind that's going on over the summertime and looking at this data, and our department heads are doing a great job getting all of our teachers working in that direction of thinking, how do I constantly improve, and how do I reflect and constantly tweak my lessons and my units so that kids can be successful.
Do these numbers, was that like who is mastery level? Like 31 was 31%? Is that
Yes.
what that's telling us?
But if you go back to the last slide, those are the percentages of passing rates and stuff like that for the students. So yes, we're always looking to try to continue to move upward and stuff. Getting the mastery levels is something that every year we're looking to say, hey, how can we do better? And what is that specific little thing that I have to say in my lesson and in my classroom to make sure that it flips that switch of, oh, this is the correct answer, and now I understand, so I can get that mastery level.
Could you explain, exactly what mastery level constitutes?
It's getting a grade of an 85 or above.
Okay. And then 2 questions. If you look at geometry, living environment, and chemistry, historically they are trending below the other ones. Is there any thought or rationale as to why?
I was just going to say, as you're moving forward with some of these courses, so geometry has traditionally, which is most commonly, I would say 10th grade, maybe 11th grade students, but students who are taking geometry, it also includes 9th grade students who may have been accelerated in their middle school years, taking Algebra 1 during 8th grade, but what we're often seeing is that geometry and algebra are 2 very different math content areas. And so it is not exactly as seamless, even though it goes one after the other, and there is a level of building and skill development. It is not a seamless content area. And so a lot of times the teachers are trying to restart and reboot with their students in that fall of their geometry year. But as Doug Beto spoke to, that is a course along with living environment or chemistry which all go up in rigor as they are later years of high school, though the teachers are continuing to reflect and work at this.
You'll notice that the geometry, the living environment, and the earth science are also new exams this year. For the past 2 years, they have been preparing for these new exams. What you will find, especially in the living environment and in the earth science, is an increase of inquiry-based instruction versus just rote memorization. So it requires a higher sophistication of reading, of literacy skills, and of being able to take multiple documents and form an argument and support that argument. The geometry is also heavy literacy. And so this ties into the work that we've been doing K-8 in literacy as well. Additionally, just to highlight, our school actually, proficiency-wise, outscored the state on the new exam this year. So it is not where we want it to be, but it's definitely it's a positive outcome for being a new exam with a totally new curriculum.
Yeah.
I also want to point out that we are one of the few schools that did, we were one of the few schools, a lot of the schools opted to not administer the new exam because they had the option to still administer the old exam, but we were a school that decided to get a jump start and administer the new exam. So we'll be ahead of a lot of the other school districts that decided to continue to administer the old exam. So I'm glad that we decided to do that because our results will be ahead as a result of doing that.
And the other thing that, this is the high school giving their data, and some other buildings already have, so in that sense, this may be a repeat, but it's, in some sense, it's not. I mean, and having these presentations were very important to me and the board members because we wanted the data, and I firmly believe that data drives decisions. That being said, students are not data points. They are people and they are human beings. So when we're looking at that, I just want to make sure we keep in mind that we're not just looking at the scores, that we're looking to everything that constitutes these scores. Because if a student is doing well, I guess that's easy. If a student's struggling, it's not just, data and math. Do the teachers all keep that, top of mind, that there's more to it? Okay.
And one of the reasons why we administered these new exams is because it came with the new curriculum, which we believe is beneficial to our students. Just like you said.
Right, and if they're struggling, there could be other reasons outside of just the pure academic measure of it.
And that's what we're pleased with over the last 5 years, getting those screeners and making, identifying kids' difficulties in the fall and in the winter so that we're not just catching them in June when they're leaving us for summertime and say, well, we did the best we could. No, we're catching them throughout the year so that we're hopefully preparing them to do the best they can because of the screeners that we've used in the fall and in the winter.
I think one of the strengths from what you're talking about there as well is that our culture at Iroquois schools is one that sees a child holistically. And the steps we've taken with MTSS over the years that we started this presentation with really speaks to that there is the academic components. We are going to strive and strive and strive because there is a big picture of our teaching and learning. And part of that is addressing the social and emotional needs of every child and recognizing the different backgrounds, the different unique talents and strengths that every child brings. And I think it's really a testament to this district and its long-standing history of seeing every individual child for the gifts and who they are as a person. And I think that's continuing even with this data.
And thank you. That's because we do want the data and the board wants it, but I don't want to get away. We're not just chasing test results at the expense of the student.
Absolutely. I think that's the heartbeat really within our school.
And a lot about what we're going to talk about next is about exactly what you just said, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
Alexis.
think this slide can also point to some of that because when we talk about data, there's a lot of different types of data points. There's hard numbers when it comes to passing or not passing, and those matter. It also matters how many, as a data point, how many opportunities are we affording our students in broad strokes? And what you're looking at here is an incredibly rich course offering for students who are looking for that next level, whether it's AP courses or it's college credit courses. You're looking at a list of 16 and 15 in each respective category. And what that really turns into is in each one of those courses listed, there are multiple sections of students who are getting to extend their learning past Regents exams into greater critical thinking, even greater inquiry-based instruction, as Dr. Dudek mentioned, even greater hands-on experiences that are going to prepare them not only for college, but even careers and directly support their next level of education, regardless of path, college or career. And I think one of the strengths that we really have focused on and honed in working with our student support team and working with our department chairs and the teachers within these courses is that these courses are not just elite level courses. You have to get the 4s or the 5s. That's all that matters. That's a point. That's valuable, and we'll speak about our success rate with that. But it's just as valuable, and the message here of challenge yourself, push yourself, prove to yourself what you're capable, and take that as a larger picture of what you can achieve, not only in high school, but in what's to come. And I think that's the strong message beyond AP and college credit courses. So this is another data point that really paints the story of increased opportunities for students, increased student voice and choice, and students defining their own path within the high school setting.
So what we're seeing is, especially over the last couple of years, is a very large increase in the number of students that are enrolled in advanced placement courses in our school, which we're very proud of. So the message is getting through that we want students to challenge themselves, specifically in their junior and senior year. And we're seeing a really nice upward trend in the success rate in our AP courses as well throughout the last 5 years. Specifically last year, we did really well. We don't want that to be a blip on our radar. 91% of our students earned a 3 or better last year on their AP exams. And that is, over the last couple of years, we've seen a very dramatic increase in the number of students who are enrolled in AP courses as well. We believe that's due to just the great work that our teachers are doing, preparing our students for AP exams, plus the great messaging that we're doing as a district, encouraging our students to really challenge themselves for these really challenging courses as well. Okay, so this has been a really good point that we're seeing in our schools.
Also, to go along with that student voice and choice, we have students who are involved in our BOCES programs getting career and technical education, and we're seeing increases in that where students are looking to say, hey, I want to get involved in something right away. I want to be able to get out of the building and do something with my hands. I want to be able to do something different than just being in the classroom on a daily basis for 9 periods. So what we're seeing is a number of kids who are involved in our BOCES programs at Ormsby, Harkness Center, Potter Road, but then also a program called our New Visions program, which is even a higher level, almost like an honors program for our career and technical educations, where the seniors have an opportunity to apply for that, and they're getting into programs with engineering, they're getting into programs with conservation and zoology, the medical field, and dear to our hearts, the educational field. And what they're doing is they're going off campus and they're getting embedded right into the program through the learning, our educational program. They're at Buff State and they're working side by side with professors at Buff State, but then also working with children at Buff State and basically teaching. At 16, 17, 18 years old, depending on, their age as their senior. Same thing with the legal academy over at Canisius College. They're working side by side with professors who are also lawyers. So they're getting it right away to say, hey, is this somewhere I want to go in my secondary education for college and choices? And it's something that's great that the Career and Technical Education program in Western New York has built in, and we're really proud of our students taking that opportunity and getting involved in it.
Can I ask a question really quick on that? When are they introduced to the offerings?
When are they introduced to these programs?
Yes.
Yeah, we bring all the sophomores down. In fact, we just did it a couple weeks ago. And today, they actually went over to Ormsby to see some of these programs. So the counselors are speaking to the students in their 10th grade year about all of these programs. And then they go on a visit to our Ormsby Center, being so close right in East Aurora. But then throughout their scheduling appointments, they're being talked to by the counselors to see, hey, is this an avenue that you want to try to explore?
And they have the opportunity to participate in any of the programs, like Erie 1, Erie 2?
Yes, typically, we're always going to go through, obviously, because we're an Erie 2 school, that's the first and foremost choice that they're going to go through, the Ormsby program over at East Aurora. But if there's a program, which I believe one was aviation over at Harkness, where we have a student who does that through the Erie 1 program. So yes, they have that opportunity to go through either one of the BOCES.
Thank you.
Is there a way to get them introduced earlier? Because the one thing I would love to see is, I mean, I didn't know until last year when that kid came in and did the presentation on becoming a pilot through BOCES. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I was parked next to BOCES on Potter Road, and I'm reading the sign at the red light. I'm like, holy smokes, there's even more that they offer.
So actually, we implemented that this school year with the implementation of our high school seminar. One of the components that the team of teachers that has been developing that course in conjunction with ourselves and student support is introducing more opportunities to students earlier, so that there isn't that, oh wait, I wish I had known moment. And so what they actually did in these individualized smaller settings, they were able to talk through all these programs already actually in freshman year. They then sophomore year will have the opportunity to everything that was just shared, come down to the auditorium. We bring in Ormsby. The counselors will also speak to the other programs as well, and then do the field trip. So they're actually now this year starting to be exposed to it during freshman year.
Is the P-TECH program does that start in the freshman year if the student was interested in it?
I believe it's the 8th grade year that they're able to start that.
Sorry.
Actually, the counselors at the middle school begin talking about BOCES programs. They're not as in-depth as here. P-TECH is discussed in the middle school, and unfortunately, the P-TECH programs, the distance to a P-TECH program right now is limiting the number of students that become interested in it because of the travel time. But we're always offering it and always discussing it.
I'm talking at both of them, but the advanced placement and the college courses first. Two questions on that. As I think it may have been Mr. Gestri or said that, junior and senior year is important. And that, it's important in the fact with the knowledge and the growth, but it's also important that taking some of these courses can save literally tens of thousands of dollars in, college debt or college payments. Literally. So are the students made aware of it from that angle that, yes, senior privilege is awesome, but, you could save $20,000, $25,000. That's also pretty cool. And that the governor continues to talk about reining in some of these programs. Are we keeping an eye on that? And just a CTE real quick to students, just an example is, if you listen to Mr. Farley of Ford Motor Companies, there's 800,000 tech jobs open right now that aren't filled. I mean, do we communicate that to the students too, so they know that?
We're constantly messaging that, and not only that, it's colleges are becoming more selective too. The type of courses that students are taking in their senior year is being more and more scrutinized by colleges as well.
Right.
As far as like selection and scholarship opportunities. So we're constantly messaging that to students.
And then there's a real, in that case, there's a real economic advantage to doing it.
Absolutely. We've had students go through the Ormsby program, through the Auto Tech program in East Aurora, and have come right out and are working at the Lacey Ford as technicians at 19, 20 years old, and they're making quite a good dollar, but they're working on high-tech cars and computers, and they put themselves in a great spot for a wonderful career.
Yep.
Correct, okay.
At a very young age.
You got it.
And on the AP courses, I just have a question. I noticed that you have the scores of 3+. Are most colleges accepting 3s, or are they looking at 4s now?
It's dependent on the school. So most of the SUNY schools will take a 3 or above, and it's all dependent on what school you enroll in, and how many credits that school will give, depending on the score you get on the AP exam. So it's very college dependent. Okay. All right. So, from the data, what needs our attention, and what are we addressing? First and foremost, we're looking at really, through the data, we're looking at really beefing up our Tier 1 instruction, and this year we're working on explicit evidence-based instructional practices with our teachers. Specifically, anything that's going to move the needle with our students that we know that's evidence-based, and we're looking at specific instructional strategies to do that. Also, always looking at our exams, like as we mentioned earlier. Okay, Alexis will talk more about the freshman transition program.
Absolutely. So with the high school seminar being new this year, we walked into the year saying, with a plan of continued reflection and continued progress monitoring. And so that is going to continue to need our attention. The good news is we built that into the school year, and we'll continue to work with the team. So even though it's only offered in the fall, and that is done strategically for our freshman students, in the spring, we'll be taking that time to continue to reflect and hone in on the curriculum. And an incredible opportunity started this past fall, and Dr. Dudek was able to connect us with it wonderfully, but there is a coalition that organically formed in the region. So just recently, myself and 2 teachers out of the team of 5 who are teaching it were able to go to this coalition of other local schools who are all seeing the need for some form of a freshman foundation course to address things like executive function skills, transitioning to the high school, school pride, community building, and essentially social emotional learning. And so we're going to continue in that work of reflecting on our practices, honing what we're offering to our students, and making improvements in the coming year.
And we're continuing to stay up to date on what's happening in regards to the New York Inspires and graduation requirement changes that are slowly coming down the pike from New York State as well. Sending a team to Area 1 BOCES and attending the PLCs. Dr. Dudek, myself, counselors and teachers are sending a cohort from Iroquois attending those particular sessions. Okay. So that brings us to our goals. Our goals, again, the first goal is all about strengthening Tier 1 instruction through specific Tier 1 specific research-based strategies, and well as continuing to explore what's happening from New York State through goal number 2, through the new frameworks that are being developed by New York State through Portrait of a Graduate and New York Inspires.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
One quick question the board did ask last time, and I just kind of remember sitting here, how the cell phones doing? How's the cell phone policy holding up?
Yeah, it's been
Labor of love?
We see a lot more conversations among students. Lunch periods get a little bit longer for the kids, but but we see less bearing of faces and screens and more conversations among kids. Teachers report it as being a very positive development, and we believe that it's been a very positive development for the social emotional health of our students. We've heard no negative comments about it. Okay, so we believe it's been a very positive development.
So real quick, and I don't want to take away from the individual student thing, because that's very important.
Yeah.
With the exception of the new exams, do we know how we sit against other schools, and just how are we sitting in Western New York in general?
That's where Mary Jo's going to, her retirement is on this, so we will have a presentation on that in February, where we're comparing against all the other schools in all these areas.
Thank you. Oh, sure.
Have you guys, so has it been considered to add more APs or more dual enrollments that specialize in a certain field or something? Because I'm pretty sure there's around 3 anatomy classes, and there's classes that do have a lot of participation and better success rates than other classes.
we're always looking to expand any type of class that's going to give advantage to our students. So there, yeah, I mean, always anything that's going to give an advantage. So specifically, like an anatomy class. Right now, we do offer the anatomy class right now. At that particular college type of level. It's something we can definitely take a look at. We looked at the 10th. We're looking, currently we're examining a 10th grade advanced placement class, which is an AP seminar class, which would offer our students another opportunity. So that was something that we've been looking at. But right now at this point, we offer for the school of our size, we offer a lot of EP courses, and one of the reasons we're able to do that is because of our bell period structure. So we are almost as maxed out as we can be with AP classes, but we're always open to examining any type of class we can give you any advantage to offer for sure.
If the students had a suggestion or a request, what would be the best way to present that to you guys?
Absolutely. So come and talk to me if there's anything we can give you an advantage. We'll definitely talk about it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
We will, now we're going to talk about the interview committee for the new assistant superintendent, but also at this time, I also want to thank Mary Jo for her years of service to her district and congratulate her on her retirement. I know technically that's a little bit one or two more down, but since we're going to talk about the interview committee, it seems to make sense to say thank you, and we appreciate that immensely. So what we're looking for is at least one or not two board members who would like to sit on this committee. And then Doug can probably tell you more about the time frames and that.
It depends on the time frames.
It would be, and I'm going to look at Dave, he'll correct me if I'm wrong, we would start at 7:30 on the December 15th, and it would go till about 5 o'clock, maybe 5:30 at the latest on that day.
Just one day.
Just one day. We don't need the second day based on reviewing of the applicants.
Did we get a fair amount of applicants?
16? No, wrong.
21.
21 applicants.
And are all of them are going to be interviewed on that day, or?
No, we narrowed it down to 5.
5, okay.
So with that in mind, I know we had Todd who expressed interest, Heather Becker who expressed interest, and Heather Jacobs who expressed interest. We can take, two, one but two, but, okay.
Well, considering the negotiations is starting in January, and that's going to be a lot of time for me to
Yes.
be off of work
It
and
is.
everything else. I would be happy to hand it over to someone else.
So
Todd.
we know we have Todd locked in for that.
It's Monday.
We got Todd locked in, and then you're going to come, or you have to look at it?
I gotta look at it.
All right, let us know.
You said it's the 15th?
The 15th. It's a Monday. This coming Monday.
I'll be your alternate if you can't
Yeah.
attend.
I can let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure Dawn's on that email, because then if you're not, she can reach right out to Heather.
So then we have Todd for sure, Heather Becker, and Heather Jacobs as the alternate. Okay. The next one is pretty simple. The district clerk has been sending out all the invites for all the events in the district into our emails. I guess is that something that as a group you're all comfortable with and you want her to continue to do? That seems unanimous.
Okay.
So that's good. Now the superintendent will give his report.
Thank you very much to the public. I really appreciate the people that came out, looking to the people out in the virtual world as I look up to the camera, thanking them. And we had a really good percentage for the vote of passing. It does make sense because this is really student-based for warm and dry. And John, we have some next steps that we're looking to do with the capital project. If you could talk about that.
Yes, I think we have a unique opportunity to do something a little different than we've done in past projects. Typically at this point with the project passed, our architect then goes to work to do very detailed design of the project and all the work that has to be done. That can take a few months to do that. We then submit all those designs to New York State so they can look at those and review those to make sure we're compliant with all their laws and requirements for instructional space. That can take 3 to 8 months sometimes, depending on their workload. We just don't know how long it's going to take. And when we get that final approval back from them, that we can go forward, then we traditionally do bidding process where we do prints, we submit, make copies of all the drawings, design, we advertise for bids, and we see what comes back. And then based on what comes back to us, we can make a decision whether we want to go forward with the bidder based on our budget and things like that, or if we do not want to do that. Our construction manager, campus construction, and our architect are suggesting, for one aspect of this project, the heating and ventilation systems, because they're so complex. They are suggesting that we look at a cooperative bidding agreement that's been done in New York State. It's also called piggybacking in some cases, where we can take a bid process already happened and utilize the contractor that won that one. And I'm not necessarily looking for approval of that, because at the reorganization meeting every year, the board does approve a resolution that says that the district can use cooperative bids or piggybacking when it makes most sense for us to do that. So that's already been approved and done, so we can utilize that, but I just want to make you aware that we're looking to maybe do this on heating systems. Our attorney reviewed the cooperative agreement. They agreed that it's compliant with general municipal law for bidding process, so they're good with that. It meets all of our own, our district purchasing policies that we have in place, so that we're good there. Why the HVAC, heating ventilation systems? Because they are very complex systems that in the 2 buildings, we're going to do the full heating system replacement, which is Wales and Marilla. Every room will be touched. Every room will have plumbing removed. Every room gets plumbing added. Equipment's removed, equipment's added. So there's extensive drawings that have to be done. And with using a cooperative agreement, we can utilize the bidder, the contractor who won that bid, right in the design phase, which will be helpful because they're the experts. They kind of know these systems. This cooperative agreement has been used in Western New York for various school districts. We talked to one that was very happy with the results. We can vet the contractor in advance, which we can't do through the normal bidding process. We kind of have to live with whatever comes through on that bid day. Being able to check the references and everything in advance is really helpful too, so we're not stuck with a vendor that we don't necessarily like, which could happen in a traditional bidding process. Having that contractor involved during design phase will also, we feel, reduce change orders that could happen down the road, because there's not finger pointing the contractor saying the designer did this wrong, I did this wrong. They're both involved in their early development, so that there's a lot less chance of that happening. It also reduces our time frame by about 1 or 2 months, because the bid process does take that long to actually go through. And in the end, if we go through this cooperative agreement and the numbers really don't work at the end of it, we can still leave it, put it to the side, and go through a traditional bidding process if we want to do. So it kind of gives us the best of both worlds. But I just want to make you guys aware of that, just in case when we get to those bidding times, if you see some of our work is not being bid that way, that's why we do that, to take advantage of these cooperative bid piggybacking agreements. If you have questions about that right now, I can answer questions. If you have questions, you can also email me, and I can provide answers at the January meeting.
Thank you.
Moving into recognitions then. There's a concert going on tonight that unfortunately we're not able to attend, but be sure to attend them. They're always exceptional for the students. For athletics, first time ever I don't have to read a list of teams from the fall that earned the NISMA Team Scholar Athlete Award. This is for an average over 90% or higher, and the reason I don't have to read any team names is an excellent one because every single team made it. It's the first time in my career that that's happened that I know of or can remember. So congratulations to all those athletes. And the only other recognition I have is for Rich Randall. He's a physics teacher, and he does a fundraiser every November called No Shave November, and for prostate cancer in the Elma Senior Center. Last year they raised $800. This year they raised $2,100. An exceptional increase. Our very own Dave over here, I'm not going to say he had the thickest beard, but he was recognized for somewhere in here for the highest staff earner. Ben was the lead fundraiser. As a student, probably he beat you, just to let you know. He will be receiving tickets, Ben will, not Dave, tickets for an upcoming Buffalo Bandits game, and other participants will be receiving free haircuts and beard trims from Bearded Bison in Holland. So thank you for all this. And at the Senior Center, they're looking to buy, and I really like this idea, picture frames to display Iroquois student artwork, and also buying some painted materials to freshen up the walls at the Senior Center. So that's excellent. So thank you to Rich for organizing this and everyone that participated.
I'd also like to applaud the unified teams at Iroquois for the polar plunge last Friday.
Yeah, they're brave.
Yeah, I forgot exactly how much money they raised, but I went down as a spectator this year and not a plunger, and I was very impressed with the event and Sean Lauber's leadership on having a great unified team. Todd was there as well.
I think they raised $23,500.
Yeah, I'll have to get a report. Usually Sean sends me one, and I didn't get one yet, so I would hope I have it for the next one.
Or 23.5, but I think it was 23.5.
That's it. Dave, for recognitions, new employees moving in to, usually we do consensus agenda, but go right ahead, and who are the new employees?
Again, thanking Dr. Dudek for her dedication and service to Iroquois. Also thanking Jackie Zaks and Denise Mizzo for their service and dedication to the students at Iroquois. And then welcoming Audrey Mosinger, who's going to be joining us as a phys ed teacher up in the high school.
Thank you. Next, we will move into recognition of guests for agenda-related items. And yes, I know there are people here who are waiting to speak, and that they will at the non-agenda related items, so I want anyone to panic when I say this. And it'll be fairly quickly. We will go ahead and do our consensus agenda, and then we'll go on to the next thing. So, we're going to do number 9, discussion of agenda items, 11.01 through 18.04. The basic purpose of the consent agenda is to act upon routine matters in an expeditious manner. Items placed on the consent agenda are determined by the board president and vice president in cooperation with the superintendent, and are those which are considered common to the operation of the district and normally require no special board discussion or debate. Board members have the ability and the responsibility of reviewing the consent agenda ahead of time. A board member may request that any item of the consent agenda be removed and inserted at the appropriate place on the regular agenda. The president will present the initial motion, followed by a request for a second. So, is there a request to withdraw any items? Don, there's no request. Is there a request to add any items? Don, there's no request to add any items. I am motioning that we approve the consent agenda. Is there a second? Second by Henry. All in favor? Shows 6 in favor, none opposed. I'm gonna flip some pages. Okay, now we will move on to the recognition of our guests. A couple things. As a rule, we only allow 3. There are 4 people who have asked to speak. I'm sure the board, I would like to allow all 4 people to speak. Okay. Next, because it's important what you have to say, the only thing you have to say is that you cannot use anyone's name exactly when you're talking about it. So just as you make your comments, just remember to a generic title than an exact name. Just in no particular order, Hannah, looks like Bueller could you?
That's me.
Thank you.
I don't want this to cut into my time, but I do want to give some context, okay, as to why I'm here. Many of you might know me. I was on Channel 7 News for over 10 years. Superintendent Schofield, I interviewed you many times, had great respect for you. I'm just a stay-at-home mom to twins. They're 2.5 years old. My number 1 babysitter is my dad, Tom Wood, who's here tonight in attendance, okay? Sorry. Okay, I'm here to address the gross disloyalty to a decorated coach and tenured faculty member, and we are absolutely outraged that he has been treated this way by the Iroquois Central School District. Our beloved coach, Thomas Wood, is a man who has given over 45 years to the Iroquois Central School District. I believe members on this board have been taught by Coach Wood as well as their children as well. Name a career you've been in for 45 years and then let's talk about it. He has been forced to resign Monday from his coaching duties, and our community is heartbroken and outraged. We have over 375 signatures from taxpayers across Erie County demanding that Coach Wood is reinstated to his position, and that Change.org petition that I started last night hasn't even been in existence for 24 hours. This week, he was forced to sign a resignation letter Monday over something completely beyond his control and his job description. The district is going to tell you that he failed to protect students at a recent track meet, but here are the facts they won't tell you that I will today. For several years, an alumni member, which I will not name, who is 70, I believe, 2 years old, has been showing up at track meets. He is not a friend to Coach Wood. He was not invited by Coach Wood and has zero connection to Coach Wood at all. He is simply a community member and a taxpayer here in Alma who instead inserted himself into the program without invitation. Let's think about a super fan, okay? That's what it's been described to me as. Last year, the school resource officer banned this Iroquois graduate from school grounds. Coach Wood was merely given a copy of that notice from the district. No formal meeting, no protocol. Mr. Sellen, I believe you and I both know that human resources, you need to have a written and a verbal warning before you terminate someone. No written guidance was ever provided to Coach Wood about what to do if Scott appeared, this community member. In September, Coach Wood received only a verbal instruction from Athletic Director Carrie Vetter while he was babysitting.
We can't use names, please.
Sorry. In September, Coach Wood received only verbal instruction while he was babysitting my kids and a phone call before track to, quote, discourage Scott from coming to meets. That's it. He never encouraged him to begin with. At Friday's meet held at Buffalo State, which is not on school grounds, Scott showed up. This community member showed up. Coach Wood was the only coach present. His assistant coach was refereeing a basketball game at the time. Doesn't sound too fair to me. But Coach Wood they help each other out, and he was responsible for both teams, both the guys and the girls' track teams. He opted to not leave his athletes alone to confront Scott. They were at Buffalo State College, okay? You don't leave students unattended. He was never told that that was something he was expected to do. He's a coach, not a police officer. You have school resource officers here. Delegate them then, if there's something that's such a threat, delegate them to do that job. That is not his job. And yet, despite no warning and no guidance, he was forced to resign Monday. What's even worse is the district is now telling students that Coach Wood stepped down to, quote, focus on family and health. He received messages from students and athletes saying, I hope you're okay. Are you guys kidding me? One unexpected moment beyond his control should not erase 45 years of dedication. We are here to demand what is right. Reinstate Coach Wood. We demand answers. Coach Wood deserves to be treated better, and we will stand with him until he is restored to the position he has earned. Lastly, I would like to mention that Mr. Wood was left as a sitting duck to handle the district's security failures, that he had no prior written warning, discussion, or plan of action with the district. He was never asked to come into a meeting with the district, that this man was so threatening that this is what you are to do if this individual shows up. How can you get terminated from a job when you don't even know what you did wrong? I find it appalling. Okay? This is an absolutely egregious error on behalf of the Human Resources Department here at Iroquois Central Schools. Coach Wood has been tasked to be a police officer, and that is not his job. And my last point would be that Mr. Wood was given the option by Mr. Sellen here to resign and sign the paper, okay, on Monday, or go in front of you guys and the board. I think anybody who knows Coach Wood knows that he is the kindest, nicest person you'd ever meet in your life. I put my kids' lives in his hand, and I do it every day, and I do it again and again and again, okay? He was taken aback by the situation, had zero warning, thought, hey, maybe, a human resources thing, they're gonna bring me in and, we're gonna get a warning first, and then I'm gonna know what's going on. That didn't happen. So in shock and trying to be the nice guy that he is, Tom signed the paper. And it wasn't until he told me what happened and I said, we can't let this stand, okay? He's not going to stand up and fight. I am. And I don't care. I'm nothing anymore. I'm a mom. And I'm outraged. And there are kids crying in this room right now. This is outrageous. He's too nice, and he signed the paper. But, speaking on behalf of Coach Wood, he would now like to rescind that resignation. That signature is null and void. Thank you. I probably exceeded my 3 minutes, but I think that you can see, it's okay, honey. It's okay. What do you want in a school district, right? What do you want in a school district? We are in a throwaway society. In case you haven't noticed, it's 2025 and everybody's replaceable, okay? Not Coach Wood. He's not replaceable. He's the heartbeat of the program, and I'd stake my life on it, okay? And my reputation, okay? I just feel that I had to do this because he would not do this. He wanted to just go quietly for the students. He wanted to go quietly for the students and not create a ruckus. Are you kidding me? The man deserves some respect. And in my opinion, school districts have turned into corporations, and that's disgusting. You're paid by the taxpayers to do a job. You had no information whatsoever coming into this, okay? I gave you the information, and it's truthful information, and I will die on it. So, thank you. Coach Wood deserves better. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for everyone who has come out today. Thank you to the 375 people and counting who have signed our change.org petition. Thank you to the people who have donated money, because change.org wants you to donate money so that things can show up better. There's like over $175 has been donated. I just want to leave by saying that people are like literally upset. My niece here is crying. Track is Tom. Tom is track, okay? That is it. You talk to people and they say, Coach Wood, oh my God, that track coach from Iroquois, he's been there forever, right? I was so proud. I'm just so incredibly proud of him. And I just want to leave you with this. You know that this isn't about money, okay? Coaches don't make a lot of money, okay? This isn't about money at all, This is Tom's heartbeat. This is what he has loved since he was a kid. I just want to leave with, you know that it's important to somebody when you ask your kids, what is Papa like? They're 2.5. 2.5. And they blow on his whistle and they say, Papa likes track. Okay? Just think about that. Can you point out something that you like that a 2.5-year-old would notice? I don't know. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Is Tara Reiner? Tara, I'm sorry, I apologize. And just the same thing, try not to use names. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no. I actually wasn't even planning on speaking tonight, but I am here tonight in support of Tom Wood. I am a graduate of Iroquois, have been a proud graduate of Iroquois, and now I'm a proud parent of 3 sons. Coach Wood was my coach. I am so blessed that he has been the coach and mentor to my 3 sons, 1 recently graduated and 2 still under his care. I have never felt that he put either me or any of my children in any jeopardy, ever. I concede I don't have all of the facts of the case. I believe I am superficially aware of an issue with a family and the so-called superfan. I also believe that there was no official restraining order until today, and there has been no ban on attendance of a fan with Section 6 athletics until yesterday. Therefore, I'm not sure what our coach was supposed to do on Friday, or what's in his jurisdiction to do, especially from someone who, yes, I concede, is non-confrontational. He is the nicest person. I was present on Friday, along with one of our SRO officers and 2 district teachers, all within 5 feet of the superfan. I'm a local pediatrician. All 4 of us are mandated reporters. If anyone saw something inappropriate, we all should have said something that day. The fan was there till the end of the event. If anything happened, it should have been addressed before then by one of the mandated reporters within 5 feet, not from the coach who was down doing what he's supposed to do with the athletes, one of which was my son. I came here tonight with many of these other people because I wholly support Coach Wood. I really hope that you guys do what is right for this wonderful person and not respond in fear over litigation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Joel Kuhner. Thank you.
Just for a timer for myself. Hi, couple quick things, maybe a little bit disjointed, but in interest of time. My daughter, actually all 4 of my kids have run under coach for the last, 8 or 9 years. My son's here tonight, just came over from the concert, and now he's here because he's on the track team. My daughter now runs for Kent State. She's D1 runner and came home a few weeks ago to run at UB. There was a meet there, and she texted me and said, does Coach Wood know I'm going to be there? Which, as a man, it took me a minute to realize that she really wanted me to make sure I was telling him that he was going to be there, so I figured that out. Next thing I knew, a few minutes later, he was at the meet. She had a horrible run. She might see this, but she did. And so at the end, my wife, me, and Coach were there, and she came over and gave Coach a big hug, not me and not my wife, and started crying on her shoulder. She hasn't really been around him for 4 years. So the idea that the kids are somehow not protected or something like that, it's as far from what I can envision as truth as I can imagine. A few years ago with the state championship, she was down there. First night, there were some boys from another team in her room, because sometimes they share rooms with other schools. And Coach, out of his own pocket, got her another hotel room in New York City, which is not cheap, and refused any reimbursement from us. So the whole notion of the protection thing is bizarre. I'm sorry, but it is. I do understand your difficulty with that other individual. As a matter of fact, my same daughter, a few years ago, was very uncomfortable with some of the probably similar stuff going on then. And so I took it upon myself about 4 years ago, 2022 in the summer, to talk to him. And I told him he was basically creeping out some of the kids, and he needed to stop going to any practices, and he needed to stop any involvement with texting or social media with the kids. Now you know that, because I just, as a man, said I'm going to man up and talk to the guy, and I did. And as far as I know, in the last 3 years, he has not been on social media, at least not with my son, and not been at the practices. So I don't understand why people can't just, if they have a problem with someone, go talk to that individual and rectify it first, but it didn't seem to happen. But just so you know, I do understand the difficulty, and I do understand even the kids that might feel uncomfortable. I get it. So I understand that you're in a hard spot, but putting that responsibility on Coach Wood, I didn't do it 3 years ago, because it never crossed my mind that somehow this was Coach Wood's responsibility. That would be the most ridiculous conclusion I could come to. So I talked to the guy myself, and I understand we're in a hard spot, and I think the wrong decision was made yesterday, whenever it was. But time, we can reverse that, we can reinstate, we can do the right thing, and I think you guys need to come up with a plan. a better plan to deal with this individual, obviously. I get it, that's hard, not for us to do tonight, someone needs to do that, and I feel for you. I actually feel for the guy too, because I think he's kind of awkward and stuff, but, yeah, I'm sorry, but it's not Coach Wood's responsibility. That's 3 minutes, so.
Thank you. That's you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then there was Ms. Booker? Taryn Booker?
Okay. I mean, I don't really have too much more to cover other than, what was already covered, but this is what I have prepared. I'm here today regarding the forced resignation of longtime track coach, Thomas Wood. Coach Wood has dedicated 40-plus years to building this program to what it is now, coaching sectional champions, state champions, Section 6 record holders, and most importantly, those that needed a place to find camaraderie, and a coach that was dedicated to their growth, not only as an athlete, but an individual. My children are currently under his direction and were completely devastated to learn of his abrupt resignation. As a former athlete of his, the abruptness of his departure, especially during a season, seemed very uncharacteristic. I knew there was more to the story, and after further investigation, we discovered that this was not a decision that was made by him, even though that is what was portrayed to the athletes. I am asking the administrators to reconsider this hasty and unwarranted decision. Many of us currently in the program know the issue that arose on Friday regarding the current athlete and an Iroquois alumni athlete and his attendance at the meet this past Friday up upstate. This individual may be quirky, but he fiercely loves the sport of running and enthusiastically cheers the athletes on. We are dumbfounded by the harsh and dramatic decision to terminate Coach due to this occurrence, with no grounds for doing so. The decision to terminate Coach Wood will greatly impact the athletes this season and for the foreseeable future. For many of these athletes who have worked so hard and gained so much from Coach Wood's direction, his experience and expertise is not something that can be replicated or replaced. In removing Coach Wood, he's the very heartbeat of the team, and with that, the heartbeat was removed. I urge you all to reevaluate this decision and to consider all of the viewpoints of those currently in the program, rather than the viewpoint of one family out of thousands over his career. And a couple of questions that I would like to leave you with is, was Coach Wood made aware of a restraining order that was active prior to the meet on Friday the 5th? Was Coach Wood given any education on how to handle the situation of a breached restraining order if it should arise? If none of these things were addressed with him prior to the meet, then the fault firmly lies on the administration, and Coach Wood was without a doubt wrongfully terminated and should be immediately reinstated.
Thank you.
My name is Ella Barber, and I appreciate being able to talk to you guys tonight because I am not an Iroquois school district member. I'm actually a senior at East Aurora. I'm just a girl that loves her grandpa very much. He, like my aunt, he babysat me when I was little. And from the moment I could talk, I knew that he loved track. It's his heart, it's his soul. He has worked in this district for 45 years, and he loves track. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cry. He loves track so much. I would sit there on his bed while he would fill out the max prep stats. He skipped family vacations to go to track meets. He has missed out on family monuments to go to New York City with the kids, to take them to states. He has given his heart to the program, and it's clear because in this board, we got over 375 signatures in 24 hours, and many of the people that commented were alumni, saying Coach Wood's impact goes far beyond athletics. He has been a mentor and role model to thousands of students throughout his career. Coach Wood deserves fairness, respect, and the opportunity to continue doing what he has done for so many years. The school just removed the heartbeat of the program. I simply cannot let this happen. Another person says, let the coaches coach, which I think is fair, considering the fact that it's not a coach's job to remove a superfan from a venue. That's like asking Sean McDermott to remove a superfan if he jumps on the field. That's not his job.
Another person says, Coach Wood has helped me so much through my years in track. He was always there helping me get better and supporting my every race. For him to be dismissed in this manner is truly awful and leaves me at a loss of words. I can believe that a lot of us here tonight are at a loss of words for this, because when I heard about this, I had just gotten off of school. I didn't think it was a big deal. I thought it was like a weekly thing until I started getting messages flooding my Snapchat from kids at your school district disappointed. They were saying they were being lied to in a meeting, how he left on his own accord. I was getting messages saying, is he okay? Are you guys okay? Yes, we're okay. He was forced to resign, and he was truly devastated. I could tell he was lying through his teeth because he said, I'm fine, but I know that on that day he lost his heart, and the track at Iroquois Central School District lost their heartbeat as well. And I thank you tonight for allowing everyone to speak here.
Thank you. John?
Good evening, everyone. John Mariacker. I don't know much about the legalities of what happened in the past 4 or 5 days, so I'm going to speak a little bit of what I know about Tom and my history with Tom and what he's meant to my family, my children, and my extended family. I met Tom, you may remember, in 1981 when, I know it's hard to believe by looking at me, but I was a senior in high school. And then Tom was a great guy. I ended up, luckily enough, coaching football with Tom in the late 80s, coached that beautiful shaved head man right there. And so through those experiences and knowing Tom since 1981, just an unbelievable guy. The kind of person, like when I knew all 3 of my kids ran track, I begged Tom will remember this, because I'm like, please don't retire. Stay for my kids to get through, including my youngest son. And I would always say, just stay another year, stay another year. And like I said, I met Tom in 81, and my oldest didn't run for Tom till 2014. So it was 30 years later, pretty much, and I still wanted Tom to be there. I have since become, this year, a track and field official. So I was there Friday night. And I don't know if anybody at this board knows this, but, somebody mentioned, I don't know if it was Taryn or somebody mentioned it, Tom was the only coach there. Now, I'm officiating the meet. I went over and talked to Tom. By the way, everybody loves him. Every coach, everyone in the track community treats Tom like he's the godfather of track, and they should, because he is. So Tom, how many athletes were there Friday? Because I don't want to guess. How many athletes did you have there Friday?
15. They were split.
So he had 15 athletes by himself. Track and field has how many events? 15, 18, 20 events. He's there by himself, running around like a chicken with his head cut off to manage these athletes and doing the best he can at all these different events. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. And I've seen it a million times as a parent and a fan, but I saw it as a track official. How is he supposed to manage what you guys are talking about? He was there was he supposed to be there by himself?
No.
Was he? I'm asking, does anybody here know? Was he supposed to be there by himself? Well, he was. He was there by himself, managing all those athletes. And he's expected to take care of something that apparently, from what I understand, he's never been officially had any correspondence to take care of the guy. So he coached all 3 of my kids. He coached my youngest to be a high school All-American, a multiple-time state champion, a multiple-time Section 6 champion, earned 16 varsity letters at this school. And one of the biggest reasons is that guy right there. Now, that's just the athletic accomplishments. But he instilled character, honesty, hard work, and not only my youngest son, but all my kids. And my youngest son, who runs division track right now, called and was absolutely devastated by it. Because he called me like 3 days ago, I can't wait to get up there. He was gonna help the hurdlers. And now he calls me today, Dad, what's going on? He's heartbroken. My other 2 kids as well. Tom is as honest, caring, and generous a person as you could ever meet. We've all discussed, the people that have come up here have discussed his accomplishments as a track coach, and what it's meant to my kids and my youngest son, who all those accolades. But way more important than that, way more, is the influence that he's had on kids. Karen and I have talked about it many times, what he's meant to our kids, what he's meant to her, what he's meant to hundreds of athletes that he's had here. It's just unbelievable. And we talk about, and you guys had the high school people up here, I don't know if they were principals, I don't know who they were, and we talk about the achievements of our kids and what we want to do, and we all want the best teachers, and I know Doug's worked very hard to get the best for this school. School board members, the ones that I know, do the same thing. Doug and I were partners trying to get the field over there and the track. And here you got a guy who's an unbelievable positive influence on all these kids. And we're going to take that away from the future? I mean, what are we doing here? There's a guy right there who every one of us, if we had a kid as an athlete, you would crawl through a mile of broken glass to have that guy coach your kids. And I'm blessed that guy coached my 3 kids. And I feel bad, really bad, for the kids who are on the team now or kids coming up that don't have him and his amazing influence for them. So thank you for the time. God bless everyone.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to make a motion to move into executive session for medical, financial, credit, or employment history of any particular person or corporation or matters leading to the appointment, second by Henry, or by Heather Becker. All in favor? That's all in favor to move into executive session. We will move into executive session. And we are returning from executive session. I am making a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second? Second by Todd. All in favor? All 6 are in favor? None opposed? We are adjourned at 10:01.